part of the process is doing things wrong and learning and finding what you do enjoy, what works for you, what doesn't.
Welcome to Platform Z, or Z, whichever you prefer. Join me, Noah Lennon, as I speak with my generation about a range of topics and themes in the present day.
Hello, lovely listeners. Thank you for tuning in to the 7th episode of the podcast. Today, I'm speaking with an up-and-coming powerlifter. He's also a MyProtein athlete, as well as a popular content creator. Oh, and we both shared an English literature class during A-levels.
We did.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the tenacious, humorous, and affable soul, Finnan Foster.
Welcome. Appreciate it, Noah. It's good to be here. I appreciate you getting me on. That English class, let's not waffle as much as we did back then.
Yes. Yeah. So, as you may have seen from the title, today's episode is powerlifting. We'll be discussing Finnan's journey into powerlifting, gym culture, men's health, and more. To begin, Finnan, would you like to explain your journey into powerlifting?
Yeah, so just to begin, not many people know powerlifting when they hear it. And it's basically done on a squat, bench, and deadlift, and you get 3 attempts at each. And, whoever's heaviest out of all of it wins, essentially. But yeah, so I started just going to the gym a little bit before COVID, just for football, really. I was playing football, wanting to get a little bit of an edge playing football, to start going to the gym. COVID hit, and coming out of COVID was like, all right, I enjoyed this. I'm just going to properly go for it. I think just being in that environment, you get addicted to it so quickly. And you want to get better and you want to keep pushing it, especially when you go and then you start making connections with people and you start building those relationships with people that are there. It just becomes a thing where you always want to go, you always want to be involved. So then from there, that was maybe 3 years of just going to the gym for fun. And I remember one of my friends at the time, Kavon, he was like, "Oh, you're basically a powerlifter because you always go heavy." And I was like, "Oh, I'm not. And I sort of just embraced it. I was like, do you know what? I actually do enjoy this. So it was the summer before I went to uni, which was 2.5 years ago now. So just been doing it since then and just been getting better and better and better. And then had a little bit of a time off when I got injured, but then again, just came back and keep building. It's one of those things where I guess we'll get into it later, but it's delayed gratification, I guess. You're always building, you're putting in the work away from the platform, which is where you compete, to only compete 2 or 3 times a year. And then you also build lots of relationships because everyone's in the same boat. Everyone's putting in the work behind the scenes, I guess. So for me, that's really what brought me in and kept me there. As much as it is, you're pushing yourself and you're getting better, it's also you're making friends and you're all doing it together, which is something that for me really, really got me hooked.
Yeah, love that. When you first started out, were you going every day?
Yeah, so go 6 days a week, and then I'd have football on the Sunday. But then when I got with my coach, he broke it down into just 4 days, which is a lot more structured. It gives me a bit more balance. It's not every day I work, then train, then get home at 10 o'clock at night. There are days where, I can go out and see people, or I can do other things, which I do think is really important. You do need to have, as much as it is a great outlet where you can release whatever's going on in your life, I think it is also really important to have a balance of both, where the gym is great. It is a great place to be and to improve, but also you do need that other outlet.
Yeah.
This is a self-promotional break.
Yes, that's right, people. I'm back with the self-promo. Shameless. I hate doing this. My fundraising page for the Rising competition with War Child UK has just opened today, which you can find via my artist page on the Hotvox website. That will be linked in the description. On the 7th of September, we recorded a one-take 30-minute live set at Soundstage Studios in North London, which you can tune into live next Monday, the 20th of October at 7:30 p.m. Again, that will be in the description. Please donate to the cause. All proceeds will go to War Child UK, and if you aren't aware of their work as a charity already, I highly recommend that you check them out. They're brilliant. Okay, back to the episode. Thank you. Goodbye. Has there been a time when the balance was quite uneven and you were very gym heavy?
Yeah, definitely. To be fair, I think when we were in sixth form, so maybe 3 or 4 years ago, it was quite heavily overly to the gym and not too much anywhere else. I remember when we had a Friday, I had nothing till the afternoon. I would go in the morning. I would go during school which definitely wasn't the best idea, because I definitely could have been either studying or just sitting with friends. But I'll just go during school. And like at the time I thought, I don't want to be doing anything else. But looking back, I definitely do wish I'd spaced it out a little bit more and taken a bit more time to balance it out. But I definitely think I've improved that balance. And like I said, where a lot of people are in it together now, a lot of my friends that I go to the gym with, we all do the similar thing. So it's combining the two, I guess. So like a lot of Saturdays where everyone's training together, then we'll all go out for food after. So it's combining the two as well and not having it so clearly one or the other.
I love that community aspect. I'm really interested in that aspect of it. What I want to ask is how the gym has impacted you on a personal level, how it's influenced you over the years.
The most important thing I've got from it is my confidence. I remember when I must have been 13, 14, like around that age. Like I wasn't the most outgoing person. Like if I was friends with you, I'd have no problem speaking to you. But outside of that, if I didn't know you, I wouldn't really speak to you. And then being in the gym where, you're constantly having like little interactions here and there with people and like building those relationships from fresh, especially when you don't know anyone there in the first place, and realizing that, people do want to speak. And if they don't, like it's not the end of the world. And just being able to build those relationships and build those social skills. Like I've got a lot of confidence now, which I think attributed and came from going to the gym. And then we touched on it a little bit earlier, but like delayed gratification, discipline. So being able to have that mindset, and it's translated out of the gym now. It's in like where I work or uni work. It's putting in the groundworks and then reaping the benefits later. So I think it's definitely given me a lot of confidence, but then it's also given me those social skills and that mindset where if I want something that's like maybe quite a big goal, I'm more than happy to make small sacrifices to get there and building up towards it. I guess being able to get through like the low, and it's not always like a low point, but it might not be the high where you want to be, and just being able to work through that and be comfortable in that is really important. It's taught me that getting through the lower points and just being able to be comfortable in that discomfort to then get the benefit is something that's always so worth it.
When you touch on the low, getting the injury, was that, how did that impact you?
That was a very low point. And the worst part was it was purely my own fault. So I was 8 weeks out from doing, this was actually supposed to be my first competition. And one of my friends walked into the gym and I was squatting literally the bar, and I turned to go speak to him because I hadn't seen him since over Christmas. And then one of my vertebrae just went. Yeah, so I had to wear sliders. I couldn't like tie laces or anything for about 2 months. It took me about 6 months before I was like fully recovered. So that was definitely a low point. But again, having those support systems outside the gym, so where I couldn't properly train, being able to take myself out of that. And I remember going for a walk every day because my coach was like, going for walks will help it. It will keep it like moving. I'd go for a walk every night with one of my friends, Amber. She just like literally was there every night, like, oh, cool, let's go for a walk. You need to go for a walk. You need to fix your back. And we just go for a walk around campus because Loughborough's a campus uni, which is where I'm at now. And we just do a lap of the campus because that was like the ideal like distance to fix my back. And it's just having that support system outside of the gym and having people around you. Like all my friends knew I was in a bit of a low point because of my back and not being able to do what I loved. So everyone really sort of comes around you and picks you up, which I think is one of the most important things, is to have that support system around you.
Yeah. What does an off day look like to you?
In terms of relaxing, you mean?
Yeah, just a day maybe when you're not at the gym. What does that look like?
I'd always try and see people, because especially where I go to the gym with my friends, I try and see people who don't go to the gym, just to have that little separation to make sure I'm making time for everyone that I want to keep in my life, because it's, you can't expect them to be there if you're not making an effort, if that makes sense. So I would try and see people who I might not see, or might go for food with people who I lived with who didn't go to the gym, or sit down and watch a film. But I'd say unwinding and just making time for friends, like the most important and also the most like beneficial way to unwind. If you're unwinding, you want it to be in like a nice, enjoyable environment. And I think being around people that you really care for and that you really get on with, it's just a nice way to unwind and to relax, I guess.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
So I'll give you a bit of a 2-in-1 question here. You can take your time with this one. What would be your words of encouragement for somebody looking to get into the gym, but also specifically into powerlifting?
Getting into the gym, I would say just do it. Like there's no right time to start. Like I know a lot of people will think New Year I'll go, or I'll go just before summer. There's no right time to start. Like just go. Part of the process is doing things wrong. and learning and finding what you do enjoy, what works for you, what doesn't. And don't be afraid to speak to people. I remember when I first went, I wasn't scared to speak to people, but I wouldn't go and speak to someone. And I remember at the time, someone called Exxon and someone called Kevin, they were quite big in my gym. I remember they were talking about unis, and this is when we were applying. And I just went and spoke to them, and they were lovely. Like, I still speak to them now, and like they were lovely. Like, people have a perception that, you know, people in the gym are scary, or like they don't want to speak to you. Like, they don't really care. Like, they want to speak to you, or in the off chance they don't, like, it's really not the end of the world. So I would say go. There's no time that's going to be better to start. Just go and speak to people. Everyone knows that you start somewhere, and everyone wants to help. Or you could literally be a simple thing like, oh, how do you do this? You might get a short answer, or you might get a really good answer where you can build on that relationship. Like, you know, there are people I've spoken to once or twice, but then there are people who I speak to regularly, or I text them, or if I haven't seen them for a while, I'll phone them. There are relationships to be built there, and people think that, you know, you're in the gym, you don't want to speak to people, you get in, get out. That's not the case. It is the case for some people, but for most people, like, they don't mind having a little bit of a conversation. And for them, it is also more fun as well. Like, having those relationships in the gym, it makes it more fun. You might train together next time you see them. You never know, just speak to them. And what I would say for powerlifting is try and find a community, because to be honest, it can be lonely for doing it on your own. I know one of my friends, Ava, she's recently stopped because when she graduated, she was the only person in her gym. So she didn't have that community. So I think having a community around you is so important, because it just makes it so much more enjoyable. But then you can also learn from each other. So the gym I go to, there's lots of different people who, and quite a few of them have like represented Britain. They're a lot more knowledgeable than I am. So I'm like a sponge, just like, oh, why are you doing it like that? Or why do you do that and I don't? Or why do I do this and you don't do it? So I'd say in powerlifting, having a good community around you, and also not letting your ego get to you. Like, I know a lot of people who have suffered from this, and they want to push, and they want to max out every single session, and it's just not going to get you anywhere. I know, especially when I started, I was like that. I wanted to be the one who was there maxing out every session, always pushing myself. And it wasn't until it was actually after my injury, I sort of took a step back and I was like, if I want to actually recover from this, and if I actually want to get better, there are ways you need to do it, and there's the discipline, the delayed gratification, like we talked about. Sometimes you're going to have to pull it back, but it's all worth it when it builds up. So I'd say if that community, but then also knowing when is and when isn't the time to push, and just listening to your body. Like, there are days you're going to come in and you might have slept really bad the night before, or you might not have eaten well the day before. So you're naturally going to perform worse. But if you try and overcompensate, it's only going to get worse. Whereas if you pull it back just for one day, the next time you come in, you're going to be recovered and you're going to be better off for it. But I guess just to summarize that, I'd say for the gym, just go and speak to people, and don't be afraid to make mistakes and to learn from it. And then for powerlifting, I'd say find a good community. I know it's easy to say and hard to do, but to try and find that good community and just speak to people. I remember when I first went to uni, one of my really good friends now, he literally just walked over and was like, oh, do you powerlift? Because he could tell from what I was doing. That was maybe my second day at uni, and we're really good friends now. And knowing yourself and knowing when and when not to overexert, knowing when to have that discipline, have that clarity to think, okay, cool, I might not be at my best today. Let me pull it back a bit.
Yeah. Brilliant. I think there's a lot to take from that.
Yeah.
So thank you, Finnan. Yeah. Okay. I'll ask you one more thing, because I really want to ask this. You don't even have to answer if you don't want.
Go on.
What's the big goal? What's next?
So the plan anyway is so next September is Commonwealth Powerlifting. That's what me and my coach are working towards at the minute. So for that, it's All English Championships, which is I think it's in June or July. I think it's in June. It's winner of that. That's where you get the invite. So in February, we're doing like a little local comp just to get like a good total up to qualify for it, because I haven't competed in a while, and then go to that comp, smash it, hopefully get Commonwealth invite. That's the plan. That is the plan for the next year. Hopefully.
Come on.
Hopefully.
Rooting for you, man.
Appreciate it. I'll keep you in the loop.
Yes. Let's move on to the Platform Z Quickfire questions. Are you ready, Finnan?
I'm definitely ready. Let's do it. Come on.
What was the most recent thing that inspired you?
This is gonna fuel his ego. But one of my good friends, Manson. So last year he was the world champion in his weight class, and then this last year he's basically had no shoulder for a year, which has really impacted his training. And I remember saying to him, like, just go and I beg you, just go and win again. It'll be sick. A few weeks before he went out, flew out to, it was in Costa Rica this year, and he was a little bit touchy about it. He didn't want to say he was going to win because he didn't want to put it out there, and he didn't perform because of all his injuries. But I remember I stayed up quite late to watch it, and I remember when he did his last deadlift to win, like I remember feeling, I want to reach that level, like I want to be there. So as much as it'll fuel his ego, and I hate saying that he inspired me because he's a good friend of mine, I'd have to say that. I say watching him come 2-time world champ, I think that's really, really inspired me.
What is your goal for this month?
Yeah, so I think my goal for this month is getting back to posting more. When I was at uni, I was able to post 2-3 times a week on my Instagram. I post most days on my TikTok, but on my Instagram, most days I was getting 2 or 3 out a week. Just I had more time, and I had more time to put effort into what I was filming. Whereas now, when I'm working, it's a lot more difficult. So I'm only doing like 1 a week. So I guess this month I want to get back onto it and making a bit more time to be posting 2, maybe 3 times a week. I want to get back onto that level where I can post more frequently.
What's one bad habit that you need to get rid of?
Probably overthinking. I think sometimes I overthink, which then delays and almost puts a hold on what I'm doing, which obviously doesn't help when you're trying to make things happen. So I'd have to say overthinking. I think I have got better at it recently, but it's still something that I'm trying to get better at, trying to work on.
What does joy look like to you?
I think for me, what I get the most happiness out of is when me and the people around me are all working and getting better, watching my close friends do better and like achieve things. That makes me, it inspires me, but also just makes me happy for them, which then also pushes me, and then I get satisfaction, I get happiness out of my own growth. So I think being in an environment where I'm able to grow, but then also my friends around me, the people I'm close with, they're also growing. I think that's what brings me a lot of happiness. As well as watching Arsenal's resurrection this season, that also brings me a lot of happiness this year.
Yeah, I love that. When have you felt the most love?
This might be a bit of a weird answer, but when me and my girlfriend broke up about a month ago, that's actually when I felt the most love, because all the people who I was closest with sort of just picked me up. Like, I don't want to say I was expecting them to pick me up, but I knew they would come and help me, but I wasn't expecting the extent to which they were. One of my really good friends, Melina, she phoned me every night for about a week and a half, 2 weeks, just to literally just check in and see how I was doing. And like, it's small things like that where it was only like a 20-minute call, but just knowing that if I needed something, I could call her. The people I'd say really picked me up would be like my friends Ava and Melina, and then CJ and Marv. I didn't expect my CJ and Marv, who are men, to be as receptive, just because I feel like, which is weird to say, but I think it's a thing where you almost expect them to have a little bit less compassion for it. But they both just picked me up straight away and really helped me along, which made me feel like a lot of love, which was really good for me.
Thank you for sharing that, because yeah, that's not easy. It's a really hard thing, and you need the people around you. So it is really important as guys to allow emotions and to
100%
lift your brothers up, lift the people around you up, because we're all going through it. We're all going through the same thing. So yeah, just got to be there.
No, definitely.
Yeah, really important. Last question. What's the one thing you'd change in today's society?
I think people are too transactional. I think there are a lot of people, don't get me wrong, there are definitely exceptions, but I think a lot of people will only do something for you if it benefits them, or if they know you'll do something to help them in return. Doing something just to help someone's lost a little bit, and I think that's something that isn't, I mean, it's definitely not right, but I think it's something that can be, it's not a big thing to change, it's not a big ask, I don't think. I think it's quite easy to just do something for someone.
Yeah, I love that so much. Definitely. We have to see the beauty in helping others.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you might be in a position to help someone and they might not be able to help you back, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't be looking to help them. And I'm not saying you can and you should help every single person in the world. Doing like a little bit does definitely make a difference.
100%. And I definitely believe in karma. It will come back around. Everything you do will come back around. Well, that's the end of another episode, guys. Thank you so much, Finnan, for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, man. Of course. Would you like to take a moment now to tell the listeners where they can find you, what you've got going on, what you've got coming up? Talk to them.
Yeah, so the main place I'm active and I'm about is Instagram, which is just Finnan Foster. Like I said earlier, I post every week, but at the minute trying to get it back up to where I used to be, posting a couple times a week. And anything you're buying on my protein, I'm going to take a shameless plug here. If you want to use my code, it's FINNANLU, so it's FINNANLU. At the minute, it actually gets you 15% off, but normally it's 10%. If you're anything on my protein, make sure you drop that. And you can reach me on Instagram. It's my main place that I'm at.
Perfect. And all of that will be linked in the description.
Perfect. Appreciate it, Noah.
Of course. Great episode. Thank you for sharing everything. And we're all rooting for you. We're going to watch your journey.
Appreciate it. Maybe when we go Commonwealth, we can run it back, get another one going.
Let's go, man. Let's do it. Bye, guys. Thank you for listening.
See you later.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed. See you next time.